Hey, Weather Warriors, in this video, we're talking about another potential severe weather outbreak here for the southeastern United States, 7 days after that big one we had not too long ago, unfortunately. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about whether it's going to be a big tornado outbreak or just severe weather in general. And I'm also going to talk about my tornado tracks, timing, storm track, much more. But before we begin, if you're a weather enthusiast, I invite you to subscribe below. If you like detailed educational, much more educational than you would see on TV, forecast breakdowns, long range forecasts, much more, click that subscribe button, those bell notifications. Comment below what severe storm would you like me to create a documentary on. I'll pick one winner and we'll do one of these documentaries each month on the channel. Also, I opened up a Twitter. Feel free to follow me there just for this channel and for some just general updates. You can follow me there. I'm going to post more frequent updates on there. So check that out. Now, we'll get right into things here. This is the SPC Day 4 outlook. This is for Sunday here. They've already got an enhanced risk for almost the exact same areas that tornado outbreak a few days back, week back here. So you got Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia in the southern end again in that enhanced risk. That could very well go up. We'll see what happens. And then a slight risk all around behind that from the Carolinas to about Texas. A little bit farther south than the previous setup, but almost the exact same location. So pretty crazy there. If you didn't see my video yesterday, I talked about the long-range severe weather outlook for the next couple of months. The Gulf is brewing, very warm. It's like a sauna down there, and that's going to aid in lots of moisture here for the next few weeks and for the setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Pivotal Weather here and check out the setup here for Sunday. And what we're looking at is the southeastern United States. We're looking at near and below the jet stream. This is for Sunday at 1 p.m. There's a little trough here, and it might be just enough to spark a decent sized outbreak to the east of it. So it's east of that little blip you see in the jet stream. You see there's front-loaded flow here on the east side. When you see that, when you see the jet max really strong on the east side, and you see all that divergence, that's going to aid in significant lift at the surface, going to create a low with all that warm moisture to the south just sitting off the Gulf. This is going to overlap it and potentially create a significant rain and severe weather event. Now, the question is, will it be tornadoes? There's a lot of hype out there suggesting big time tornado outbreak. I'll tell you what, we'll reveal that in a second, but it certainly looks like severe weather. If you look at the precipitation for the same hour here in the southeastern United States, lots of rain and thunderstorms. Now, this is the type of setup that I think is going to blow up all at once. We got tons of moisture coming up. And really, the cap seems to be pretty weak. There's a nice warm front right here. There's cold front back here. There's going to be a nice severe zone for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. But the cap's going to be pretty weak, and the surface flow is kind of variable because of that. Because of all the rain that could be occurring later in the day, that could inhibit instability just a bit and disrupt surface flow just a bit. If you look at the surface wind flow and the dew points here, got plenty of dew points, 60 dew points all the way up through about Tennessee, almost the exact same area as the previous setup, just a little bit further south. And then even some 70 dews in Louisiana, Mississippi, and southern Texas. Southeast winds out ahead of it, not overly strong, kind of variable surface flow, and lots of rain in place. However, we got a very strong jet stream, like I said, that 500 millibar. So that's going to aid for some wind shear. We're going to at least get some severe weather. Now, the instability, this is measuring the buoyancy in the atmosphere, how fast those updrafts are rising. Again, all we really need is about 750 to 1,000 with that type of jet stream. And we got values 2,000 in some areas. You can see there's a maximum here in western Texas. Now you're wondering, maybe why is there not a maximum out here farther east? And it's possible that we're going to have ongoing storms here and storms that blow up really early. That's going to cool down the atmosphere a bit, hindering the instability. It might actually recover a little bit farther west. You might see maybe 1 or 2 rounds here in western Texas, Louisiana. That being said, because of that really weak cap, we could see lots of clusters of storms, which means very widespread rain and severe weather, lots of hail, wind. But when we get really widespread severe weather like this and the cap being really weak, that can inhibit tornado threats. So I'm not buying the chances of this setup being a big time tornado outbreak. I definitely think you'll see at least a couple of reports, maybe a few reports, but I'm definitely not seeing a major tornado outbreak with this system at the moment. So I'm thinking isolated tornadoes with this setup, but it's going to mostly be a heavy rain, dangerous lightning, some damaging winds, and hail type of event for the southeastern United States. Right now, again, tornado threat appears to be slight to moderate. Okay, few isolated tornadoes here and there, perhaps a strong one, but I'm not seeing a wide scale outbreak, much weaker than the previous event. If you look at the low level jet, the low level jet does really increase as we head later into the evening, but right now at 1 p.m., you can see it's only about 30, 40 knots. This is just the surface winds just off the deck, transporting winds out of the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see it's kind of broken up, not quite organized, a little bit westerly even. As we head towards 7 p.m., you can see this blows up as it goes off to the east. So that's going to enhance the severe weather threat, even though the atmosphere is going to cool a bit. The low-level jet's really going to increase farther east. So, that'll offset things and it'll keep the risk for severe weather enhanced for all the way out to Georgia and maybe in the Carolinas. And then obviously overnight on Sunday night, you can see that low-level jet just screaming, transporting tons of moisture in from the Gulf, aiding in wind shear for parts of Georgia and South Carolina. But then you look at the instability, and the instability is much weaker. So there's not a whole lot of instability there, but the low-level jet's really strong, so they might offset, and that's why you'll see probably enhanced risk for severe weather even out to Georgia. But like I said, this particular event, the timing is just a little bit off. If that low level jet was a little bit stronger earlier and the thunderstorms blew up a little bit later, we could be seeing a big time outbreak here for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe even Georgia for tornadoes. But at the moment, this should be enough to aid for a significant wind, hail, and particularly heavy rain and thunderstorm threat. Again, the tornado threat is in big time question. Like I said, slight to moderate in my view. I don't think it's going to be a huge outbreak. Again, those details will resolve as we head towards Saturday night into Sunday, Friday or so. When we get better details. So that's what that looks like. We also can look at the crossovers here. What in the world is this? Well, this is going to measure the instability and the wind shear together. And when you get these the black barbs are the winds out of the surface, okay? And it's essentially, if it looks like this, it's coming out of the southeast. If it looks like this, it's coming out of the northwest, for instance. And the blues here are the upper levels. When you get a big change in those, that typically means when you get southeast winds at the surface and southwest above, that means there's a lot of wind shear. And if you get a big difference, that means that there's a lot of wind shear. And you can see the winds are out of the south at about 10 knots at the surface out of the south, and then southwesterly at about 50, 60 knots way above, or at 500 millibars. So there's decent shear sitting out here. It's a little bit directional, but unidirectional, but there is some decent shear out here, and obviously instability, good speed shear that's going to aid clusters and lines of thunderstorms in the southeastern United States. Again, wind and hail being the primary threat, lots of heavy rain with this event. Tornado threat appears to be slight to moderate, not expecting an outbreak at the moment. In terms of the rainfall amounts, we're going to look at the rainfall amounts here. You're talking several inches of rain potentially. You see this southeastern United States here, 4 or 5 inches, 3 inches. So a good swath within that enhanced risk that we were talking about of probably 2 to 5 inches of rain with this event. So like I said, I think this is going to be more of a flooding, wind and hail type of event for the southeastern United States. And again, tornado threat a little bit lower, much lower than last week. So I'm not buying big time tornado outbreak with this event. So keep that in mind. Again, I'll make updates on this forecast as we head towards Saturday or so, Sunday, if anything major changes, and we might do a live stream as well. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe below. And also, we got the winner from the last video. So I asked, what was the strongest tornado on record? It's actually Bridge Creek, Oklahoma, 319 miles an hour winds. And you can see that crazy inflow notch, outflow notch. There's that Debris Ball, you got that big tornado in there. Bridge Creek, Oklahoma. And Philip Braddock is the featured winner here. He guessed Bridge Creek F5, so that was correct. And I know a lot of other people did too, but we're just going to do one person per video. But again, comment below what severe storm would you like me to create a documentary on, and I'll pick a couple of winners, and we'll make some documentaries, maybe release one each month for you guys. So check that out. And also check out that video I made, the long range forecast for the United States for severe weather through May. So check that out as well. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon.